In this video, I'll be demonstrating how to successfully complete on your own assignment 20-2. Here is the instruction page from Blackboard. We're going to click here and get the instruction set as usual. It's going to bring up the PDF, and I will put that on another screen here so I can see it while we're completing it. Now, on this instruction page, it references a PowerPoint that you will not need because you will create a PowerPoint slideshow from scratch here. So step one, I want you to start PowerPoint. Okay, and we're just going to choose blank presentation. Okay, and then it wants us to save it, and of course it's going to tell us to save it with a particular name, but we're not going to do that. We're going to use the naming convention. The last name underscore first initial underscore on your own 20-2. Okay, again, we don't have to worry about putting the file extension because PowerPoint will automatically do that. And so we are ready to go. Step 2, use the name of your favorite author as the presentation title. So we can click here on the title, and I'm just going to use Tolkien as my example. Okay, and you can use whoever you like as your author. This would be a good chance for you to learn something about your favorite author as well as learn something about PowerPoint. Step 2 also says add your name as the subtitle, so I'll click down here and type in my name. Step 3 wants us to create 2 to 3 new slides that describe the author's life, and it gives some suggested slide titles. So you can just come up here and say new slide, and on the title I'll just use the ones that they recommend. Childhood and early life. Okay, I'll create a new one. Personal life, and then another new one, and achievements. Now I'm going to leave these blank. I'm not going to put any actual data because it would take too long for me to go and research it and put it in here. You wouldn't want to watch that. Besides, you get the point of what needs to be done here. You can use the text here after you find the information and just put bulleted information down through here. Don't put too much on the slide because you don't want to put too much information on a slide. People won't read it. Alright, so but I'm going to leave them blank, but in your assignment, in order to get full credit, you need to fill in some pertinent information about your author here on these slides. You don't absolutely have to use these same titles, childhood and early life, personal life, achievements. You can pick your own, but do have at least 2 slides here that covers material something like that. Okay, alright, now step 4, we're going to create 3 more new slides, and each one is going to be devoted to a different book by the author. And so the first one here, click new slide, of course, and then Fellowship of the Ring, right? And then you want to add some information about that book here, maybe a synopsis of it, characters, things like that. Okay, new slide, The Two Towers, and new slide again, Return of the King. Okay, and same thing for the other 2 slides that are related to individual books. You want to add maybe a synopsis and primary characters and things like that. It just says add a brief summary of each book and the content placeholder, which is this area here where it says click to add text. Okay, step 5 says add 1 or 2 slides describing the author's writing style. So we'll click new slide here and we'll say writing style, and you can put some verbiage in here. And then step 6, add a final summary or conclusion slide. So we'll click new slide, summary in here, and you can add a summary here or explain why you like the author as the instructions point out. And step 7 says review your slides and edit them as needed so they do not include too much text. Some presenters recommend no more than 6 or 7 bullets per slide and no more than 6 or 7 words per bullet. That's probably a good suggestion. You don't want to put walls of text on presentations because that's not really what they're designed for. They're more just an aid to the actual presentation, which is the speaker speaking. So if you've got a lot of information on the slide, people will try to read it instead of listening to the speaker, and that actually is not what you want. So you want to you want to try to avoid full sentences and huge blocks of text, and just add summary bullet points. That tends to work better for PowerPoint. Okay, step 8 says add speaker notes to at least 3 slides to help you remember pertinent information. So I'm going to go back up here to Fellowship of the Ring. It's one of the books. Now, what you can do here is I'm just going to use my mouse pointer down here. I can click and drag, and it will now show me the notes. There's actually several different ways to do that where you can see the notes. But you can just type information down here. Now, the information that you type in the notes area isn't going to show up on the slide, but you can print notes pages so that it will show you the slide and the corresponding notes. That's really for the presenter to have as they are presenting. All right, it's information that will not be shown to the audience, so it's like your cheat notes, right? That's the way to think of it. And so what you want to do is come down here it says at least 3 slides, and so you can pick any 3 slides you like, but add some information. So if you've got too much information on your slide, maybe you want to summarize that and put some of the detail information down in the notes area, all right, if you want to keep it in there. So step 9 says choose an appropriate theme, adjust the size of the text in the bulleted list if necessary. So we're going to go over to the design ribbon here, and there are lots of different themes that you can choose from. As you mouse over, it will change the presentation to reflect whichever one that you're on. So you can kind of go through here and see whichever one you like, pick one that you like. It doesn't matter which one that you pick, just make sure that you do select a theme, okay? And you may have to go back through here and look at some of the text because it changes the font and stuff like that, and some of your text may be off, they may be running off the slide, or it may be, you may have too much on it and running off the bottom of the slide, so you may have to, edit the size of the fonts or take some of the verbiage out or what have you to make it look good. And because when you change the design theme, it does that. You'll want to go back and review all of your slides after you change the theme, okay? All right, so step 10 says add a page curl transition to all of the slides. All right, so I'm going to come back up here to the title slide. You can just click over here in this navigation pane, and it will, change whichever one you click on. It's going to show that in the big pane over here. So for transitions, there's a ribbon especially for that. So you can click this little down arrow here, okay? And the one that's asking for is page curl, which is right here. So we're going to click that. Okay, it previews and shows you what that looks like. And there's a little button here that says apply to all. So you can click that, and notice how it puts the little star here next to all of them. That's an easy way to do it so that you don't have to go and click slides one by one and apply transitions. It's not a big deal because we've got 9 slides here, but imagine if you had 79 slides, it'd take you a long time to do that. Okay, all right. It says add appropriate animations, and so that animations are a bit different. Transitions apply to the entire slide. Animations are applied to objects on a slide. So if you like, you can come in here to different objects like titles, subtitles, or images, or bulleted text, and go to animations and apply whatever animations you like in there. It doesn't tell you specifically what to include, just to add some of them. You don't have to go overboard with it. All right, step 11, it says add the author's name as a footer on all slides and notes and handouts. Exclude the footer from the title slide. So the way to do that, we're going to go to the insert ribbon, header and footer, okay? And so we're going to go to footer here. And put the author's name, okay, and select this little checkbox here, don't show on the title slide, in order to, because the instructions say not to do that. And then I'm just going to highlight that, okay, copy. And I can say apply to all. Whoops, I didn't mean to do that. Let's go back in there. And you want to do the same thing over on the notes and handout, where you click footer, okay, and apply to all. And then there we go. Alright, so it won't show on the title slide, but if you click on one of the others, you can see down here in the footer, right, that it's going to show up on there, which is exactly what the instructions are asking for. Alright, step 12 says find at least one image to include in your presentation. Alright, to do that, I'm just going to select Return of the King, for example, and say insert, and I'm going to choose online pictures here. I'll just type in Return of the King, and of course it's going to show. Maybe I'll pick this one and say insert. So there it gives that to me. Now you can just drag this around wherever you like and use the sizing handles to resize it. Okay. And so you're probably going to have text on here. You have to put the image where it doesn't overlap the text. Okay, you may have to rearrange your text box in order to make room for the image. Okay, and what you could do is you could do that for each of the books, or you could include a picture of the author, or it's just whatever you want. It's not specific about what you need to include, just that you need to include images. Okay, and it gives suggestion, perhaps a photo of the author or a book cover, right, which makes the most sense. And it says animate any image you add with an entrance animation. So now you have to select the object that you want, which in my case is already selected. So I'm going to go over to animations here, and if I click this little down arrow so I can see all the animations, see the entrance right here, it's all of this top row. Emphasis is a separate group of animations, and then exit and motion pass, so it kind of breaks them up into different groups. So it's asking for any entrance animation, so you can just kind of pick. I'm just going to pick one here. Okay, and notice it puts a little number next to it. That's how you know that it's animated. And then on the last slide, which would be 9 in my case, add the applause sound to the transition. So you go to the transitions ribbon, and then under the sound right here in the timing area, just choose applause. Okay, and you don't want to click apply to all because you only want that on the last slide, right? Okay, and then step 14 just wants you to check the spelling in the presentation, and 15 is to view the slideshow. And so you can actually, the easy way that I do that is just hit F5 on the keyboard. That is the easy way to show the presentation, okay? And as you watch it, I'm not going to do that because it would actually show up on my other screen, which you wouldn't be able to see in the recording. But you can hit F5 and flip through the presentation. You could hit the N key on the keyboard to advance slides, and the P key for the previous slide. That lets you go forward and backwards. And you can see all the page transitions to make sure they're working, and the animations on your objects. Make sure it looks okay, okay? Then step 16 says to print the presentation as notes pages. Obviously, you're not going to be able to turn that in, so there's no point in printing it. You're obviously welcome to do that if you want to see what the notes pages look like and make sure the footer is on there and what have you, just so that you're familiar with what that printout looks like. But clearly, that's not a requirement to turn in. And 17 is simply to save the presentation and close it. And that concludes on your own 20-2.